Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, it's Regit and welcome back to the update 7.4. I'm pleased to announce that the video of the overview seemed to do rather well. As short as it was and as much as it won't prove to be much of financial gain, I enjoyed doing such a short thing and it allows us to go into more detail with the other things in the update. So first, I unveil my plans into Australia with a slot that will not work. That is my trial for Silver Week, which probably isn't very good, and I don't know whether I'll be doing much Silver Week after the amount that I did 2NH3, but I'll just put this to some random sort of normal slot that will be a lot better suited to it. Hang on a minute. Hey, hang on a minute. What's going on here? So, it's just... Alright. These Into the Future outbreaks have proven to be a little bit more difficult these days, and I'm starting to think perhaps maybe I should work on having some kind of general anti-zombie thing. But then I think perhaps not. But one thing that may help with that is when I finally manage to build my full base for Holy Blast. I'll have a look at that and its permutations and hopefully get it up to level 20. So these things are sort of ongoing. They'll have to be. I'll have to work through the outbreaks and Into the Future, and I'll have to work through getting the base up, but I will move it a little bit forward today, as we will with this. But principally, we'll be looking at something that we can do in one session. And wow, a Zhang route, that's the one, on an outbreak stage. That's just bad manners. My plan is to do one of the true forms, but as of the moment, I don't even know what it's going to be. Perhaps as I have Jizo in this general slot, we might do that. That seems like a nice solid one to go for. And of course, it will be a little bit of a change for Jizo, because the second form completely changes how it works, and the third form goes from where the second form left off and makes it a little bit better, one can only assume. So I'm gonna try and finish this lot off, and if you can hear me above the volume looking at those waveforms, we'll move on. Here he is then, my Kasa Jizo, strategically not quite hypermaxed, so I can get away with saying he's not hypermaxed and yet have him mostly hypermaxed. He'll be at level 37 until I have cause for him to be high level if I get stuck somewhere, but we are going to in fact evolve him to Jizo's Mega Castle. True form evolution increases defense and range and attack rate, which sounds great because the Jizo's moving castle, huge burly thing, does a huge anti-angel or black attack, but the fact it can do it faster, and the fact that it can last for longer, and the fact that it can do it from further away, that sounds pretty good. If you were able to switch forms of units before going on to a continue stage, that might make Holy Wrath possible, but of course you can't, because it's growing strange. Let's at least be grateful there are no Elder Cat fruits to gather for this, and we can get this true form, which is looking a bit catchy-y actually. I like the shadow work, making the cat look all 3D-y. So we're gonna evolve! Evolve ye, mighty Jizo Castle, into the even mightier Mega Jizo Castle! Well, would you look at that? It's golden. I like the gold. Very nice. Gold. Escaping the government's tactical missile strikes, the Jizo organisation. That just sounds like the sort of people who go into war versus Lucas IV and the No Gacha Brigade. Battle Cat's Civil War. The Jizo organisation is on the offensive, deals massive damage to Black Angel types. Look at me. I have given Trashki his next Battle Cats movie idea. Here's something we haven't looked at in a long while, and an opportunity to embarrass myself. It's the Angel Cyclone Oncoming Maelstrom Expert difficulty, which should be far more than easy enough, but we all know how things go when I try them and assume that I can do them. I've come to try and assume that I can't do things, and then I'll either be nah or quite pleasantly surprised. But hopefully our fancy Mega Golden Jizo face will destroy this. Right, Gabriel Doge to start us off. Luckily we're fast enough with the ramen. Them things move quite quickly and hitboxes are rather questionable when you're against the cat base. I would say I'm not going to question it, but by talking about it I sort of have, and I do intend to carry on questioning it, but it's probably not something that's going to have anything done about it. So this is going to be a great opportunity for us to get my max worker cat, I think, and it's quite possible that 3 ramens may have been a little bit too much. So I'll lay off them with the hope there are a few more Angel enemies so that we can be kept back a bit and we can upgrade the worker cat to max and be best placed to move forward. I think, yeah, we might be alright. They seem to be coming at a steady rate, but equally we've still got all our ramens at the moment. Yeah, I mean, the fact it's an expert stage, I should have seen that coming just a little bit. In any case, as we unearthed the cyclone from its slumber, I don't know quite what it was doing before it came out the base, not my position to ask, but we were about halfway up to max monies within max worker cat, so we should be alright. And here, striding above the masses of erasers and everything else, is Jizo's mega castle. Well, how fancy is that? And I tell you what, it looks decently high definition, and that's a good start. Not something you can really take for granted in battle cats. And that range, that's some good range. The shadow only reaching up to quite far away in my sort of technical range terms. Of course, things make their way up very closely because I'm a bit unprofessional. We've even got Cyberpunk. And yet, my mega castle still manages to get hit. Incredible. Can we? Oh dear. Oh dear.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
You know, I said I had the potential to embarrass myself. Ladies and gentlemen, I have embarrassed myself. One ramen this time, and I think this strat's going to work a lot better. These would need to be seriously underpowered angel enemies to get through this on just one ramen, and that also would bring into question just how I managed to pretty much fail whilst having all the Jizo. I'm not quite sure. I would have thought that the amount of damage that it did would be enough to knock back the cyclone in every hit, but it's not. I guess you'll want an angel knockback ability for that, and on a stage like this it would be preferable to have that. But the attack rate's got to show somewhere. We got to see it attack faster, we got to see it attack better, and we got to see it lasting a little bit longer. Again, a bit misrepresentative on the cyclone because of course it does bajillions of damage the moment it hits you, but I'm really hoping for a better show from Jizo's mega castle here. Of course, I'm going to reserve all judgment. You know I always do that, because if I started to not reserve judgment, what would happen would be I would have just made conclusions about a unit that just weren't true. So this time, what are we going to do differently? Maybe perhaps a little more meat shielding? Maybe a cyberpunk to start off with this time? The other stuff can't really help, but whatever. A bit of freezing perhaps, a bit more ramen, and then in fact, we will bring out our Jizo's mega castle. And if this doesn't solve our situation, I don't know quite what will. We've got a nice few angelic hippos there stalling the way for us. In fact, it's actually only one now. Oh no, another has come out to block us for a little bit longer. Good news indeed, because then we'll have stuff more compacted together and more likely to be able to beat one expert level stage. Woohoo. Look at me, absolutely going up in the world. Right, slow beam you all. Don't want Gabriel Doges amongst me units, and I also don't want a cyclone creeping up on me whilst I'm trying to deal with them. So the rest of the Ubers there, keep meat shielding as an imperative, and try this time to showcase the true might of Jizo's mega castle, which I'm just sure that I haven't really unearthed yet. I do wonder whether objectively, once tested properly and in the right sort of circumstances, if Jizo's mega castle is worth it. Now, of course, Jizo's moving castle was always worth it in certain examples when Jizo couldn't, for example, outrange something, but I wonder whether this improvement in it is going to improve it enough for the usage rates between Jizo and its bigger form to be balanced out. Because I think we can prove fairly conclusively that the cyclone is not its cup of tea. Can we have a chance here? A bit more freezing, minus Jizo's mega castle, but nevertheless, can we push forward and destroy the cyclone? No, alas, the cyclone defeats us. The typical sound that ever rings within my ears. I'll tell you what, I have some XP stages to do, and seeming as Jizo's also against black enemies, why don't I take it into the weekend stage? Surely, something that I physically cannot lose. Sweet XP Insane, obviously nowhere near as difficult as oncoming Maelstrom, which is supposed to be an expert stage. This might be a chance to redeem myself and the castle. I think the problem we had was me assuming that the cyclone would be able to get knocked back, but I must have remembered wrong, and it must have been angel knockback abilities that I was using, because it probably only has one knockback. So whatever damage we were doing wasn't enough, and it was going to keep moving forward without any knockback on our side. So I don't think that reflects especially badly on the Mega Castle, but then I guess we've proved something. Don't ye take that one into ye Cyclone. Always have the ability-based ones, but with this, our Bun Bun Black definitely has more than one knockback, so we should be able to do the same kind of thing. I could actually scrap this bit of the video, go back to the other one, and prove that Springtime Kenshin is a better Uber because you can beat the Cyclone with it. I mean, to be fair, Springtime Kenshin is the best Uber. Another advantage might be, perhaps, that here in Sweet XP Insane we'll actually be able to see the advantage of the range because the Cyclone won't be advancing on us quite so much. So I'm not actually entirely sure where it attacks. Are those little things preliminary attacks, or is that just part of an animation? So when it stops to do an attack, a bit of a top attack, a middle attack, and a huge bottom attack? So is that a multi-hit, or is that just part of an animation? Now, I heard someone saying multi-hit, and yeah, that did damage. I'm not sure about the middle one, whether that's a completely inconsequential attack, but it's gone a bit A-Bahama. You see, that's quite good. So when things do have knockbacks, it's going to separate out its attack so that we're more likely to knock stuff back. So really, what I've succeeded in doing is finding the sort of really left field example where this multi-hit won't have an impact, but otherwise, the staggering of the attack really helps on something like Sweet XP Insane, which, I mean, you obviously don't need Jizo to complete, but really helps, doesn't it? I'm liking the multi-hit, and I never even noticed that before. But it's lovely. I might have answered my own question. I reckon them usage rates are going right up. Bam, bam, bam! Look at that, and that just clears out all the stuff in front of Bun Bun Black, and he will soon to be gone as well, I assume. And of course, because of all the knockbacks, we're managing to maintain the range. Not quite so much with Peach Devils, who boldly drive forward as the hitbox disappears for a split second, but now it disappears for a longer amount of time, because we have in fact beaten the level, and that, I say, has been a lot better a test than the last one. Wouldn't you agree? What better place, perhaps, to take this finally than Pasta Desert, which is going to be our 5th stage in Here Be Dragons? It is indeed. So we get this done, then we have the stage almost, last one, ready for the refill once we've worked out how to do it. We only have the energy to do it once, so hopefully this will work out well. This is a slot that I made again to work as a general slot for the Uncanny Legends. My normal one, but just with a few things switched around so that it's more generalist and has slapstick cats in it. And before I forget again, perhaps it might be a good idea to put Thaumaturge in. No messing about here. I'm even going to put a Sniper the Cat on before I've even gone into the level. Look at me being all daring. It's the item I have most of. So, you know, I'm going to run out of everything else first. And you usually don't have cause for just a Sniper within a battle. So we're going to give this a go. Pasta Desert. What do you have? It's a desert. I don't know why I'm actually at all surprised by that. But I genuinely was. Relic Doge. Well, I tell you what, I turned my Sniper off very briefly, but a Sniper's going to be great for a Relic Doge. Let's get a Thaumaturge out so it doesn't do quite as much damage to us. In fact, seeming as there are just snatchers coming in behind and nothing else, if I just do a bit of a Thaumaturge stack with my double eraser, that might be a good way to build up the Worker Cat if we ever actually have any monies free. But no, now a 3rd Relic Doge. I might bring in the Slapstick Cats as well, but just one of them. Slow all these. Meat shield a little bit more, and then, perhaps, we might have the chance to upgrade the Worker Cat. Come on, I know we can do it. Well, oh, we're killing them. We're actually killing the Relic Doges. Good start. Level 5 Worker Cat. Things possibly going our way. Doesn't sound quite right, does it? What's next? There surely must be something next after that. There's been a lot of Relic Doges so far, but nothing else of significance. We got to level 7 Worker Cat. We're killing the Relic Doges just about fine with our little bit of slapstick, loads of Thaumaturge, and constant meat shielding. This almost feels like kind of genuine strategy. Like the sort of thing that someone would genuinely come up with and say this isn't the sort of thing that Regit would do. And look at us doing it. I do hope though that whatever's inside the base will actually fit at least decently with our Jizo true form so that we can factor it in somehow. The Thaumaturges have done us well so far, as well as the Slapstick Cats, but now I think is the time to save as best I can. And I reckon I'll put the Jizo out once we've got the Shockwave because we're so near to the base anyway. Looks like the amount of Relic Doges just coming out now is giving us some nice time to keep saving up. Gonna keep meat shielding though, try and get ourselves some max monies, and then we will be as best prepared we can possibly be. Right, what's inside this million health base? The relic doges are still in front of it. We can't go through their hitboxes, interestingly, but everything else can go through ours. Come on, come on, there we go. Oh, it's a Master Ray. What makes me think it's a hugely buffed Master Ray? A lot of things, but I reckon, right, this might be a great opportunity for us. And we have a Mega Aphrodite for if it isn't a great opportunity for us. So let's slow all of them down. Help to get rid of some of those guys. It does a little bit. And I'm going to get Ultraland the Ultraman to freeze whatever is in front of the Master Ray. But look at that range from Jizo's Mega Castle. I feel like this might genuinely be an opportunity to succeed somewhat. We're really quite low on monies, so it's just going to be my expensive 3 meat shields and pretty much nothing else. But I tell you what, I think the range is helping. A Jizo definitely wouldn't outrange a Master Ray, but our Mega Castle is doing so and should be doing a lot of damage to it. Yes, it's not an Angel or Black enemy, but Jizo is famous for being a pretty good all-rounder just because of how much damage it manages to do. Ultraland's getting in the fight as well. I didn't know that he'd actually have the right amount of range, but he does. We seem to be incredibly well equipped for this just from a general slot, and I'm happy about that. I don't know quite what that was. Could have been a zombie burrow that knocked our Mega Castle back. Pesky flipping zombies. Let's slow them, make sure they don't burrow. And you know what? I don't think we even need a Mega Aphrodite at the moment. Not that we could afford one, but it's going rather swimmingly well. This is such a pleasant surprise. As I said before, you either go air or you're pleasantly surprised, and this is not air. Pasta Desert is the land of pleasant surprise. Again, I'm still really liking this theme of calling back to earlier Stories of Legend levels. I don't know what level it was, but it was around the sort of time of Glucosamine Desert, I would assume, that we had the Master Ray. I still don't know what glucosamine is, but I assume it's got something to do with food groups or sugars or something like that. So relating it back, I really love that. I love relating things back to things, calling back to things, and you know something I also love? Being able to complete levels. My Jizo's dead. Edit this one in. Look, my Jizo's not dead. I must also commend Ultraland the Ultraman for doing an incredible job here. Really being, in fact, the Ultraman that he is famed to be. Doing a lot of knockbacks and freezing and not dying. Because we know if he died, he falls back in spectacular fashion and just goes bleh, and he's gone in one singular knockback and about 2 damage. But here he is still providing a very nice service to our army. And I tell you what, that Jizo that definitely didn't die is still doing great work for us. And that Master Ray has an obscene amount of health. But I'm glad I brought the sniper cap for a level I didn't know what was in it. I think we've judged this rather well, which makes it, of course, luck of the draw, but good judgment nonetheless. Oh, shot. Shot! Oh, I was so ready to say BAM as the Master Ray fell, but he didn't. He's still there. This is a persistent little licky flipping boy, this one, isn't it? Mega Aphrodite, in fact, finishes him off, the unit that I said I'd try not to put out, but must have done subconsciously anyway. Worry ye not, all my units have worked together brilliantly well to defeat Pasta Desert, and I tell you what, if I've said I tell you what for the 20th time, I do apologise, but I will still tell you what. This has been some successful battling, if you ignore what happened first. I'm going to finally remember to do something that I never do, but I should always do, because I usually have to go to these places anyway. Actually, I don't anymore, because thumbnail process has been spritified, and it's very fancy. But nonetheless, we will take a look at our Jizo true form anyway, wherever on earth it has gone. I was looking for new, but realised the flaw in that logic, because it's just a true form. Here it is then, the Mega Castle, which we shall look at as it expands past the bounds of even the blue location as we sign off the video. The Mega Castle. Well, it's pretty good, isn't it? I like it. It's been dead fancy, and I think the multi-hit has really helped it be a bit more usable in castle form. It's not as if the castle form was ever rubbish against like Winged Piggy, Have I been converted to Piggy? No, surely not. The fact that it's so good against enemies like the Winged Peach that Jizo just can't really work well against, it was like that before, and this is just going to really help it, especially with groups of enemies being hit by that multi-hit, and done it look proper fancy. A good true form all in all, and I'd say that was really what we want, because it's been a long time coming, hasn't it? Jizo, a much fabled unit, being one of the best in the entire game, if not the best in the entire game in the terms of Uber lists that some people come up with. And we got its true form, and it's pretty dandy. I like it, I hope you like it, and I hope you haven't been inconsiderate as to dislike the video just because I have Jizo. I have Jizo, you may not, but you may get it, and it's not my fault you don't have it. So sorry to you, but please don't take it out on me. Anyway, that'll do. Thank you for popping along and watching the video. I will bid you goodbye and say I hope you enjoyed.